So I was struck by the original inspiration for these conversations. And I was just telling Juma that, is it okay if I refer to you as Juma, or would you prefer Jumatatu?
I always introduce myself as Jumatatu, but I don't have a preference. I just introduce myself as Jumatatu though. Juma actually means something different.
Okay. So I would love for you to introduce yourselves, and I will introduce myself. But first, I wanted to say that I was so excited about the inspiration for this. And I was telling Jumatatu that the inspiration was taken from a talk with uh, Sadia Hartman, Oakley, Tina Camp, and Simone, another artist, Simone. I'm trying to remember her name.
Lee, right? Lee? No.
Yes, Simone Lee, Tina Camp, Okwe Okpokosili, and Sadia Hartman. And the talk was on slowness, and a question that came up for them that I thought was really interesting was, what does gathering mean for you? And they were also looking at a photo of June Jordan and Toni Morrison, and all these Black women were together, like in their coats and like just hanging out. And I think Intozaki Shange was in the photo, and it's a great photo that I can screen share with you in a second. But something that came up for me with talking to both of you is also about gathering and reimagining, like feminist gathering, Black feminist gathering, reimagining Black feminist femdom, with folks who are working, with the feminine principle without necessarily the gendered, like kind of um, this binary gendered perspective, uh, and just saying that like all of this has been inspired by Black feminists and gone global, because Peter had this kind of interesting, he was just saying that it was really cool to just hear them talk, and he felt like he was in the room with them. And so with that, uh, let's see if I can get this. Oh, on the link, yeah, the Vimeo link actually shows the photo if you wanted to look at it. So there you go. And yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Mayfield Brooks, they, them pronouns, based in Brooklyn, Lenape-Ho-Kang. And I wanted to just thank you for being here, and also invite you to introduce yourselves for this conversation that we're going to have.
I'm Jumatatu Poe. I am currently in Sakimauchi-ing, also called Philadelphia. Um, my pronouns fluctuate. I also use my name a lot in places where a pronoun would be, but my pronouns fluctuate, and if you use them, I encourage you to call out what you're called to, and I'll let you know if I needed to shift. And I'm also, I've been thinking a lot about slow as well. So I'm happy that you opened up this conversation may feel that way. This invitation into slow.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayfield, you can call me Juma. I just wanted to say, I just introduced myself as Jumatatu.
I like that Juma and Jumatatu mean something different, and so I like calling you Jumatatu. I want to know what it means.
Yeah. Jumatatu is Monday in Swahili, and Juma is week in Swahili, but it also means, I think, Friday in Arabic.
Wow. Okay. I like your shirt too. What does it say?
Oh, it says dance.
Dance, dance, dance.
Yeah, this is a
Nice.
picture. I don't know if you know Lois Welk. She's like a she's has a long history with dance service organizations, and then also did various things with Bill T. Jones and Arnie Zane way like before they incorporated.
Wow.
She lived in Philly for a long time. Was I supposed to say anything else with the introduction? I'm sorry.
No, no, no. This just
Okay.
no. It's super chill. We're just.
Okay.
Uh, I just want people to know who you are. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we're just introducing ourselves. That's all. I think we're having some technical. Oh, here we go.
Oh no.
No, we got you.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? Um, okay. Can y'all hear me or see me at all? I don't know. I can't see you, but I can see myself.
I can hear you
Yes.
Okay.
and see you.
Interesting. Um, I guess I'll just go and I'll see. Hopefully, like this technology will collaborate.
You look good.
You do.
I'm so
You
I'm
look
so
good.
tired. I'm tired. I'm like gathering slowness. Yeah, I'm ready for a nap, like literally. Um 5 p.m. is my bedtime. Um yeah, I'm Randy Reyes. I feel yeah, they them feels on point. I think I wish I'm gonna yeah, he and she they don't feel like they fit anymore. Um or like I feel like when people refer to me with he, like I like my body's like it's like a yeah, something that hasn't happened before happens somatically. So I'm like, okay, listening to that. I am now living on unceded Lenape territory, and yeah, I think I have like I feel like my body's gravity is changing where like I can't move any faster. Like I really feel like yeah, like I'm getting not heavier in a negative way, but like I feel like I want to be closer to the ground um lately. Um yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Let's start there. Being closer to the ground, slow, feeling heavier. I definitely feel like I have been experiencing a kind of slowing even within my metabolism because
Mm.
of the lack of activity in
Mm.
terms of just literally like the way that I used to operate pre-COVID was like get up, take the subway, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's like not happening. I gotta get myself up, get on my bike, go to Governor's Island or wherever else I need to go to get some space or work done. Right now I'm doing a residency at Governor's Island, but like it's not like that. It's not, I don't have any meetings to go to anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're all here, right? So yeah, I definitely feel that there's a part of me that embraces the slowing, but also wants the embodied sense of it being imposed on me is also like how do I work with this? You know, how do I yeah. I'm wondering how y'all feel about that.
I, for me, I don't feel slow as an imposition right now. It doesn't feel like I'm, locked into a slowness. Feels it feels like that is my like that's the flow that I feel. And I feel that flow amidst other, currents that feel like they're trying to shift it to a little bit faster. And I just feel really resistant right now, partially because partially it's just because I can't even, because I just can't even, partially is that. And then it's um, also partially because it feels like the, I feel like in a really I'm in a reflection zone right now. And that's just the rhythm of it. Like it's just I need to be slow. And it doesn't feel like slow doesn't even feel, I don't know why I'm saying even, and I don't think you implied this or anybody did, but I think slow, it doesn't feel like a static thing. It feels like even in my moments of rapidity, like where there's a kind of, because I do feel like a kind of freneticism from time to time, but it all feels like it's, like the rhythm of like making sense just feels very slow. And so even in those moments of freneticism, I just, it feels like I consistently remind myself that, okay, like this might be what you're, like what immediateness is telling you, but that's not where you're going to find the logic in this thing.
Yes, thank you.
Move
yes.
how you need to. It's just
yes, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, the food that I ordered just got delivered. I was like, I'm definitely listening, and I knew this was gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. Honestly,
I'm so much life right now.
I don't know what's going on. I'm here, just arriving. Honestly, there's a lot. I mean, I think the slowing down for me, yeah, definitely doesn't feel in any way, shape, or form like stagnation. I feel like I really I've been moving so quickly this year, like just even geographically, and like I remember that I keep telling myself like I want more time to rest, I want more time to reflect, I want more time to do less, and somehow like I think it's coming, and I think being here on the East Coast in the winter and like already feeling like that, like yeah, like the seasons kind of supporting my body, and like this is what this season is about. But I feel like I'm my body's asking for me to slow down in order to listen. I don't know necessarily like to what, but I'm feeling a lot. I feel like an unsettling energy, almost like premonition kind of energy. But I never know really what to do with it. Like I'm also in transition, and all I know to do with that is like to take it one day at a time and be present with what's like bubbling up from underneath. But I think yeah, just wanting to slow down enough to like tune into the silences. Like even today in the car with my parents, like there was a moment where yeah, like we were talking, and then it was like a good like 10 minutes of silence, and I was like relishing that because there's so much more sonic stimulation here. And yeah, I think everything my nervous system is asking for, everything is asking for some kind of like I was gonna say like active dormancy without completely isolating, because I'm in a new place and I don't want to like completely cut myself off either. So yeah, I think I'm very much trying to figure out my relationship to slowness in this place, I think, really. So and what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Something you said, Randy, I feel really connected to, at least in terms of the words. I don't know if we're feeling the same thing, but like that articulation really connects with me about this feeling premonitions, but not knowing what to do with them.
Yes.
That feels so incredibly relevant to me, even to the point where sometimes I worry, like, am I being irresponsible if I don't know what to do with these yet or whatever? But I can't. I just have to remind myself too then that I can't so much engage in that kind of like the spectrum of responsibility in relationships that right now.
Yeah.
But I feel it, and I'm paying attention to that.
That really resonated with me too, Randy. And I felt in the past couple of days, I've been thinking about uh, like medieval witches
Mm.
and how the patriarchy of these kings and monarchies and feudalist people, land owners, were probably similar to like what we're dealing with capitalism right now, like in terms of like us being the witches and them being the, all of a sudden there's like, this kind of development of this monarchy that monarchies weren't forever, like they weren't, where did they come from? Greed, right? And I was just imagining these witches being like, what do we do? Like, what do we do with the king? The king is not supposed to be the king. Like, this is our world. The witches are like, goodness, like, what is this? And so I'm thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, maybe we're the witches, like, we're the ones who are, looking around us and we're having these premonitions. And because this is not supposed to be what's happening, right? Like, it's out of the balance of like the natural order. If you look at nature, or it's throwing it out of balance. And so these premonitions are us being the witches, being like sensing that imbalance, I feel.
Yeah. And I think I keep finding myself like, even like we drove past like, the Exxon gas station, and like I was having not like literal double vision, but I was like, what used to be here? I was like, what did the land mass look like here? And I was wishing that I could spend more time, or like I'm feeling called to do that, to just like walk around and imagine, even if it's like, quote unquote fiction, but just to be like, what is this, like, what is this, what was here before, what's still here, what's underneath the cement, like, because that to me feels accessible. And at the same time, I feel like the slowing down, like I want to slow down in order to like imagine, as opposed to like feeling the other side of it, which is like the hopelessness, like, everything's going to shit, the earth is done, like we're done, etc., etc., etc. But I don't want to feed that part anymore. Like I feel the urgency to do something, and I still struggle with like balancing that urgency with like the more like, like like nourishing the imagination to literally like to practice seeing the future that I want to co-create, alongside the other witches. And but not that I keep getting distracted, it's just like I have to be very like clear within myself that this is like a practice that I'm committing to, because otherwise I'm just like feeding the current like vision of the thing that is crumbling. but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's I'm not that it's not enough. I just think it's like something that feels accessible to me, like today, for example, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It I feel the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking more and more about uh, like miracles and disasters,
Mm.
and and how they're it feels like I mean, they disjoint um, pattern and supposed to, they interrupt that, um, and it feels, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it feels like there is something. I feel like something like what you were saying, Mayfield, or how I'm interpreting it. Something about it feels like something about the trying to program in this disaster. Like there was disaster, and then now there is, the monarchy or the empire, is trying to grab hold of that and then and then pattern
Mm-hmm.
it so that it's this thing that is not supposed to be patterned is now becoming, not is now, I mean, it's been becoming pattern, and it's making me want to think about, or it's making me think about, it's making me want to research more how other folks who are dealing with magic, I guess I don't know if it's just are responding to miracles and disasters, but are uh, maybe do, what kind of integration work are those folks with magic helping to what have they done to help to integrate those things, integrate those miracles and disasters, those things that aren't supposed to be, into something that can be, that can help to facilitate, continuation of being, as
Mm.
opposed to, like what I do feel like, Randy, like every once in a while I do feel that too, like this desire to indulge in the desperation of it, the feeling that, oh, this is, it's over, it's ending,
Do you mean like the faith healer, like people who are who do like put out into the world that they are witches or healers, or are you wondering about how they're, because there's such a continuum, right, of folks who work within the realm of, because
right?
like I know, and maybe you can relate to this, Randy, growing up like in a Pentecostal evangelical church, um, the miracles were real. Like people believed in miracles. That was not some other, thing out there, but that was like, like my mom to this day believes that God came into her life and saved her, and that is the miracle, and so many other things. So I'm wondering about like who who you're thinking about, or are you just thinking about those people that are working, you know, the magicians?
I the, I think I'm thinking about magicians. And that's not to say that, I don't want to. I'm not saying magicians as some kind of, like a class that's away from the Pentecostal church, or the science laboratory, or, the club dance floor. I think that there are folks that know that they're working on magic.
About
And
you? What about you?
I do. I think that I'm for sure. For sure. I think that I'm working on magic, and sometimes a lot of times I don't know what that means,
Okay.
and I feel like that's, and I feel like that's, to a certain extent, it's okay. And then there's other parts where, I want to know, where I'm chasing more, knowing more clearly. to be able to put it to more use that I can interpret.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Just asking the question or being in the like almost like in the mystery of your own magic, right? Like you know that you're one of the magic makers, but you're still questioning what that means for you. You're still exploring it. So I love that. Thank you for.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, I haven't articulated it that way before. So thank you also for it.
I've been reading Parable of the Sower, or I just read it, but I still like I'm still reading it. It's one of those books where you read it, but it still keeps going. And so every conversation I have, I'm talking about it because it's so incredible. And so I haven't read Parable of the Talents, but the name of the religion is Earthseed.
Mm.
Have either of you read it?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think that I've read the whole thing. I think I've read passages for different projects.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like the first 100 pages. Yeah.
Yeah. Earthseed is so incredible. I mean, and then, I have a newer edition of the book. So Octavia Butler talks about her process in an interview at the end of the book. And that was in like the 90s when she had this interview and she was talking about everything that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Fires in California. She called it global warming, but climate change, global warming too. Police, guns, the issue of guns, right? Mm-hmm. Police brutality. I mean, it's just that to me is magic. That is that knowing that like she already knew, because it's almost like we have these premonitions because I'll speak for myself. I feel like sometimes I have these premonitions because I'm engaged with writers like Octavia Butler or Toni Morrison, or because they've already been spinning the magic, And so some of my most formative years when I was in college, I was 17, 18, 19, I was engaged with these magic makers like June Jordan and, Alice Walker is in that photo, and Ntozake Shange. And so, and also, my aunt in the church who was playing the piano and teaching me how to sing. And mm-hmm. And now that I can embrace a larger kind of perspective of my upbringing and my background, I can kind of see the magic in all the different aspects. Whereas when I was younger and just trying to leave the church, that was not magic to me. That was dogma.
Yeah, I mean, definitely dogma. And definitely, I mean, I think I've been reflecting on that, on the growing up in the church, and really like, and inevitably, like, even though there were many problematic things about that experience, I do feel like it was my first like encounter with the divine, and with like, catching the spirit, and like artistic practices that involved my voice, amongst other things. And so I feel like I I struggle with like honoring that part of my life, because it also comes like enveloped with some trauma. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm looking over there and I'm like, okay, like, you were using your voice back then, and this journey with voice as a through line in my life is like, still very present. But I wanted to bring back something that Jumatatu said earlier about like responsibility. And yeah, just like I'm questioning as well, like what my responsibility is in this moment, to as an artist, as a healer, as a person who, yeah, I definitely work with magic, I don't know what the word is for like curanderos in like, you know, Guatemalan Spanish, but I, you know, I have to do more research there. But I feel like through my practices, my choreographic practices, or those tools, like I feel that wisdom and magic waking up and getting stronger, and like um and yeah, and then there was, so yeah, what is my responsibility right now to like use my voice and unapologetically, um and using my voice also, like I was at the talk that Jumatatu and Joy did yesterday, and there was something that Joy shared around like calling in ancestors that knew them better than themselves, and I feel uh like I think that's where I feel my responsibility is in like uh yeah, just asking questions and getting curious about who's, you know, where my lineage, and finding cracks inside of stories that my, you know, my folks are telling me, um and yeah, like catching, you know, catching these like whispery resonances of these stories, and like again, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with them right now except listen, but I think I just wonder about like when is the time to act, and yeah, I mean maybe it's already like I'm already in action, um but yeah, weaving around a lot right now. Yeah.
I'm wondering that. I feel like that makes me wonder your kind of reflections back, Randy, of responsibility and how you're questioning that, thinking about it, um, in relation, you know, thinking about your voice, and then I get the Mayfield. You had said something before. You were talking about you were talking about what's happening now in relationship to what's supposed to be. Oh no, did Randy? Oh, okay, I see. Randy's still there. Um, and I'm just wondering, like, what kind of presence supposed to be has in you all's, like, I was about to say lives, then I was like, maybe I should say practice, but then I was like, maybe I should say lives. What kind of presence does that have supposed to be? I'm thinking about it for myself too.
Mm. I mean, I just imagine laying in the grass with all of you, looking up at the sky. I mean, just having space and time to play, really, and be together and cook together and creating alternative ways of being in the world that reflect our values and that just have ripple effects. Like I just feel like so much of my life has been seeking that and creating that at the same time. And I feel so, you know, fortunate because I've had so many experiences where I'm like, wow, is this really happening? Am I really like I don't know, like am I really like in this place where, you know, I feel the beauty of the world, the beauty of life, the beauty of people, you know. And through creating, through being an artist, through uh, working with young people, making compost, building a sustainable future. Like, and I think the supposed to be is maybe more of a what is. It already is. And I think that that's embedded in the supposed to be. This, I think the supposed to be is like wanting more for more people, you know, wanting more love, wanting more livable circumstances, wanting more um, wanting more sharing of resources, wanting more protection of resources, trees and lakes and oceans and land. You know, that to me is probably within the supposed to be. You know, like how are we? How am I loving this tree right in front of me? How, I don't know. Like this is giving me so much life. How am I giving back to it? You know, I don't know if you can see it, but
I remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I find myself for the first time, not ever, but I think so, like needing to. I'm like, I have to fight. Like, I really have to fight for this. Like, I have to fight in whatever way. And I've never, like, I don't even like the word coming out of my mouth. Um, but yeah, just something about this year, like, you know, and I mean, folks have already been putting their lives like on the line, like constantly, like for the planet, for others. Like, it's not. It feels like a new experience for me where I'm like, I am like, am I willing to put my body on the line, you know, for creating this, you know, this sharing, reciprocal, like loving, compassionate landscape environment. Um, and yeah, it all feels like I'm still not searching, but like tapping into the role that I want to take, which might change or, you know, is already changing um, within the current conditions that we're living under. Um, but yeah, I think, and not just fighting, I think also like, because that's what I'm feeling. But I guess what I want to be calling in more is like is what you were just describing, like more pleasure or like uh yeah, like tactics or I mean, again, I don't like that word, but pleasure tactics, just like really cultivating and trusting and believing that the erotic and committing to that daily, whether it's with a tree or with myself or with others or, you know, in whatever way, like it feels like that's how I'm imagining my, like, you know, quote unquote fighting, because I'm not a, you know, I'm not a fighter or anything like that, but I don't know, just like stirring up those, like somehow, yeah, that energy has been bubbling.
You said that energy has been.
Yeah, and then I just said that. That's all I said.
Did you say
I was it
bubbling?
was it was
Bubbling?
yeah, I think I did. I don't know, technology.
Yeah.
I think about that too, about how many of my words for determination that I want to use to talk about my determination are how much of that language is wrapped up in a like battle vocabulary. And I feel a tension with that too, because I don't want to fight either. I don't want, I don't want to.
Mm.
And then, it's like, sometimes it has to happen, but I don't want it to.
Yeah, I think I'm ready, whatever happens, I'm ready. I'm ready to throw down. y'all can, y'all okay. Y'all don't have to fight. I'm ready to throw down though. Whatever that looks like, but I do feel ready to throw down.
I'm ready to co-sign on a throwdown. I mean, I'll by somebody's side,
Yeah, co-sign.
I don't want to be I don't want to start it off. Like I feel like I feel like that's, I feel like some of the magic that I bring is in de-escalation, or, like that kind, yeah, I'll say de-escalation for convenience right now, but
Okay.
energy. But that can't be the only thing that there is, I mean, I think that as much as I don't like it, I think that violence is a part of a living experience. I think that, splitting and merging of cells, I think that those things can be violent actions.
Yeah.
So it's in me, it's in me. It's that's not what it's not what I'm conjuring, I don't think, but it's in me.
What do you think you're conjuring?
I feel like I'm conjuring like so I feel like there is something about de-escalation that is also like imbricated into a logic of seduction that is wrapped up in a kind of like notioning of, and we've talked about this before, Mayfield, like I feel like it's a huge conversation, like it just, for me, but the way that a kind of notioning of self and the kind of like slipperiness of what a self is, and then thinking about that in relationship to consent and permission and boundaries and stuff like, and things like that, the things that kind of preserve a notion of self, which is already so slippery. I feel like those things together, that feels like part of where, that feels like where my conjuring spirit lies, things in that realm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's something, the word that came to me, Jumatatu, was disarming.
Yeah. I
Right?
love it. Yes, let's take off all our clothes and,
Disarming. Because, when someone is disarming, they're very charming. Right?
Yeah.
It's like they're like synonyms. Disarm, to disarm someone is to also charm them.
That battle vocabulary again, is, yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I know. Why is that? Where does that? I don't know. I mean, there's something. For
English
example,
language. It's the English
I
language.
know.
Look where this came from.
Yeah.
True. But like, I like tactics. I like tactics because I feel like, I like this, like, imagining I'm like a spy, like a fake spy. But that's not really like, I don't know, just like, I don't know. I don't like the other ones, but I'm like tactic. I like the way it breaks down. But like, yeah, I'm like, other languages needed,
Mm-hmm.
Other languages needed.
But the dancing, I think that's why we dance. I was thinking about like tiptoeing, like what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were like talking about being a spy, you know, and how you gotta kind of tiptoe and you know what I mean? You gotta be slick. If you're a
Yeah.
spy, you gotta be real, yeah.
Yeah.
Not tiptoeing in a scary way, but like
Right.
like
Like
I'm
water.
scared, but like yeah.
Mhm.
Oh wow, I love talking to you both.
Me too.
Yes. Truly, thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like, we can keep talking, you know, this can go on, and we also can just like kind of bookend it right here, and as like as the first kind of chapter of this
Mhm.
beautiful conversation.
Thank you for the invitation, Mayfield. I'm gonna just always
Yeah.
invite me too.
I'm gonna turn off the recording now.